Hi, welcome to Relish Books. Today I'm just sharing a few thoughts on Harry Potter and the Goblet of Fire, Book 4 in the Harry Potter series. I feel like even though this is one of the most action-packed books in the series, for me it's the least memorable, which is kind of weird because a lot of really important things happen in it, and I still really like it. I don't dislike it, and it's not even my least favorite. When I'm thinking back over each book, I have a pretty clear impression of each. And book 4, for whatever reason, I can't remember a lot of the individual things that happen as well as in some of the others. And I think that's partly because it has so much action, a lot more than most of the other books, because of the Triwizard Tournament, because of the challenges. So instead of like the school year with all its events and then the big climax at the end, there are kind of like these multiple mini climaxes before the giant climax at the end with Voldemort's return to power. But I still really like the book, even though it has a couple things that are annoying. Overall, it's probably my second least favorite. I still really like all of the books, so saying it's like having a least favorite, second least favorite, I still like them. But I definitely enjoy it more than book 5. My one problem with the plot in this book, obviously, is the fact that Harry is allowed to compete in the Triwizard Tournament, even though he's underage and he didn't put his name in. He didn't want to do it. It's very dangerous. And they make this big thing about like how he has to do it because there's a magical contract with the goblet. So I don't know what would have happened to him if he hadn't. But I just feel like it's kind of one of those plot things where it's like, he has to do it for the plot. That's the plan that his enemy had. But it's kind of like Dumbledore's really powerful, and it really, really probably was not a good idea to let Harry compete. I just feel like he should have prevented it. Yeah, apparently they couldn't. But anyhow, so there's that. But I think of this book as the bridge between the books. There's the first 3 that are before Voldemort's return to power, and the final 3, which are after his return to power, where they're fighting him, opposing him, all that. The first 3 are much more lighthearted. The last 3 are quite a bit more serious and dark. And again, as the kids are aging, I definitely feel like book 4, there's a very clear shift from book 4 to book 5. Book 5 being, I think, the darkest in the whole series, just in its tone. Because, through book 4, you have, obviously, the building tension or whatever leading up to the end where Voldemort's going to come back. But it still has a lot of the feel of the first 3 books. And then there's Voldemort's return, and once you come to book 5, there's a definite shift. There's a definite shift with all of the characters. There's a definite shift with where the plot is going. I feel like this is the bridge book, which I really like. She's really good. Rowling's really good at balancing out her books, and it works well in a 7-book series. Again, I think she was very intentional, making there be 7 books with the whole 7 being an important magical number or whatever. And it kind of makes it so that there is this middle book. It's also, again, it's different from all the others because of the tournament. So there's some things like the school year is working differently. There's no Quidditch because of the tournament instead. So it's kind of a different one. Of course, they're all very different from each other, very unique. But again, I feel like there's just, there's a lot of extra stuff happening in this one. I really enjoy the opening of the book. It's actually probably my favorite part. The opening chapters, always love any chapters that Harry gets to go to the Burrow with Ron's family. And then going to the Quidditch World Cup is really fun. Obviously, then there's ends disastrously. But all of that is very exciting and a good lead into the book. Again, while I'm reading it, I really, really like it, and all the action makes it very gripping, and I'm going through it really quick, really enjoying it. but I think just because there's so much happening, it's harder to remember things individually after the fact. There are a lot of new characters introduced in this book. I feel like you get introduced to more and more people each book. But in this one, some notable ones are the rest of Ron's family, Charlie and Bill, and then you meet Fleur at school, who's never like a huge character, but she is important, way more important than in the movies. Well, I guess she is in the later movies too. But anyway, you meet her. You meet Rita Skeeter, who's kind of the small villain of the book. I feel like each book has like an overarching villain, and then there's like Voldemort. There's like somebody big and bad right below that. In this case, it would be Barty Crouch Jr. And then there's like the really annoying villain, someone who's just there to make Harry's life extra miserable. And that's Rita Skeeter. She might be like the most annoying character of the series if it wasn't for Umbridge, but Umbridge is way worse than her. So, yeah, she's pretty bad in this book. You have to deal with, Harry's dealing with everyone being mad at him for entering the tournament. He has his only real, there's a falling out in book 7, but of all the years they're at school, his only real falling out with Ron. So he's not speaking to Ron. The Daily Prophet is constantly printing all this terrible stuff that Rita Skeeter's writing. In general, just things are terrible. Things are just terrible for Harry a lot of the time, although they get even worse in book 5. But yeah, overall, it's a really fun, action-packed one. Not my favorite, not my very least favorite either. Kind of just the in-between book. So yeah, I didn't have a ton to say about this one, but thanks for watching. I will see you next time. Bye.